It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the crew of blindandroidusers.com. Kick back and enjoy another fine episode from these Google fanboys as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special 25th episode of the Blind Android Users podcast. I'm Ed Green, and with me today are Warren Carr, Austin Pinto, and Mariam Mohsen. And on this anniversary episode, we will be turning it over to the listeners. We will start first by talking about how we became aware and got involved with the podcast, and then we'll be letting people from all around the world generally have a chat and talk to us about their Android experiences and Android journeys. Warren, how are you feeling on this 25th episode?
Thank you so much, Ed. We are so thrilled to have our listeners with us. And for us, it's just about the listeners. And today we don't have anything particular in mind, but this is our milestone celebration. And we are so happy to have the guys from around the world. And we would like people to be able to tell about themselves, tell us where they're coming from and things like that. However, before we get going, I would like our other co-hosts to jump in.
So we have been preparing for this show for about 2 weeks now, and we were thinking what to do for this episode. But we are here all because of our listeners. We are doing this, and it is very nice to have some of our listeners here. I wish we had all of them, but that would be a very long show. But we have some of our listeners, and it is very nice to have them all here.
Mariam, could you also introduce yourself to our listeners? Well, of course, they know who the pretty one is, but let her speak a little bit, shall we?
All right. So actually, today in the 25th episode of the podcast, I feel like I'm so glad to see the listeners talk for themselves and actually to talk with them and feel the celebration with them. It's an amazing thing. Since I've joined this podcast, I joined because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help and to give the same knowledge and teach the same things that I've learned through the years. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you all for joining us today.
So Austin and Warren, it's your 25th anniversary, obviously. How did you both get started with the podcast?
Really, when we think about this podcast, the Blind Android Users podcast, it's amazing that we're now on our 25th episode. We got this thing started back on the 19th, right, Austin? Yeah, 19th of December. So back on December 19th, we started it out. It was pretty rough, and probably some people laugh our asses off and something crazy like that. But here we are, 25 episodes later, and amazing to see the support that we have over those months and all of that. And indeed, we are so thankful to you guys for making this a success. And when I look back, I am overjoyed with what we have accomplished. Not us, but our listeners have made us accomplish this wonderful accomplishment. And I am so thankful to you guys. I look forward to 25 more, and then we'll have would that be a golden celebration? This is silver, right? Next one is going to be the golden celebration.
Yeah, 50's golden, I think.
Yeah.
So to tell you a secret, 25 episodes today, and I think I should tell you the secret. I don't know how many of you have gone back and heard the first ever episode. Wow, that was a horrible audio quality, I must say that. So what we did was we all recorded, our hosts all recorded their Android journey, their introduction, and all those things. And all those parts were just merged together. So each one recorded and sent us their part, and we merged it together. So that is how we got started, and then things started improving slowly. Got some new equipment, got our own website, and the listeners are with us, encouraging us. So we are here, and we want to celebrate maybe a golden, maybe even 100 episodes.
Indeed, that first episode was horrible. And so think of it like, hey, we're trying to record a tune. And, Nerman sends me a little piece of his recording. I try to add on the vocals and then send it over to Mariam. Mariam, her put in the little cello in there or whatever. Oh, yeah. It was just horrible.
I think on TV they call that the pilot episode, don't they?
We couldn't even properly, comment on each other's whatever because the audio wasn't in sync. It just, but it's behind us and it's there as a history and it's a testament to rough beginning.
Well, without further ado, then, I think it's time we started involving some listeners, isn't it? Who wants to call other listeners up to say a bit about themselves?
Yeah, I can do that.
Mariam, would you help us do that? That would be great.
All right.
So the party is officially open now.
Exactly. So, first listener is Alina because it's by letter, so from A to Z. So, Alina, you're welcome to speak.
I'm Alina from Romania. I live in Austria. I was on the blind Android users email list before, and first when I started using Android, I joined the ICE3 list, and then the what was it called? Annotate, or how do you pronounce that?
Antad, then the annotate.
Yeah, exactly. And then it changed to blind Android users, and that's how I heard about the podcast. And I've been listening to all episodes.
Well, certainly we're really glad to have you as a listener. You're from Vienna, so you're from Austria, so it's country music and stuff like that. So welcome to the podcast.
And by the way, Alina's a great musician. Don't let her fool you. That girl can play the piano. She's just wonderful.
The guitar too.
We're gonna have a collaboration then.
Thank you.
Not very well, but
all right. Moving on to the next listener. Aubrey, I think that's your name. Hello. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yes, it's Aubrey. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I am Pierre Aubry from France, and I started really getting into Android in 2017, and especially thanks to a podcast called Ceci Tech, which is still animated by Yannick Placia, which is one of your co-hosts, but he isn't here today. But I really like the fact that he became one of your co-hosts, and I mentioned him quickly in my own Android story before that. And so I really got interested into Android, got my first Android phone, the OnePlus 5C in 2018. And I followed the ICE3 list for a while, and then I followed, it was Antad, then Anatad, and then it became blind Android users. It was really, really nice to know that Android in the blind community was really starting to take off. As you can see, we have people from all around the world here, so it's nice. It's okay. I mean, where I live.
You are from France, right?
Yes. In terms of accessibility, I'm in a residence for students, and there's not really anything that's inaccessible, and even for the tramway, the tramway in Besançon, they have some machines with touchscreens to buy tickets and all, but they did bother making them accessible, so that's great. But I know it's not necessarily the same everywhere.
That's cool. Actually, I want to visit France someday. It's one of the, I feel like it's the country of beauty and stuff like that. So, yeah. Merci beaucoup. My French is horrible. Don't mind me.
That's okay.
And then we have Angel, is it?
Yes, it is. How are you? How's everybody doing today? I'm here in the United States, New York City. Great podcast. I came across your podcast because I was looking for something for. I have a Victor stream, and I punched in blind and Android, and I got a couple of hits, and I listened. They're like they're like 3 or 4, and I checked out a couple of episodes of your podcast, so I actually got hooked, and that's how I got the email and everything else.
Thank you, Angel. And you know what? Angel's such a great guy. He's kind of just propelled us to levels that I wouldn't have imagined before, but we'll be talking about that later on. And
I was hoping
that's my boy right there.
I hope, I'll let you tell them.
Thank you, Angel. And we heard a little bit of a sad news. I mean, we're celebrating, but Ken was telling us that you went to a funeral. So I'm glad that you actually were able to make it back here.
Oh yeah, it was early this morning. I went there for like an hour and I came back.
Yeah, so we just want you to know that our prayers are with you guys, and for the loss.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for even coming.
I would definitely appreciate it that you actually can make it.
My pleasure.
We have Darlene. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, darling.
I am from South Africa and in the Western Cape.
My neighbor up there from South Africa.
Am I your neighbor?
Yes, I'm from Egypt, so
Africa.
Great. Cool.
So we live close to the sea, but we never get there. I was also on the ice-free list many moons ago, and from there, usually Jacob Kruger, he kept us all sort of sending us little bits and bits of stuff that went on this lists, changing from ice-free to Anadot and all those. And then when this new list started, or the latest one, the blind groups, Android, whatever, I became a member again. And since then, I love to read everything every day because usually there's something to laugh at. And usually there's something very interesting and helpful. And I've been Android user since the beginning, since there was something that could speak on the phones. I used to use all the S phones on the Samsungs, luckily for me. So I've had a great experience. Went off Android for 2 years, went to iPhone. Had a problem with my Braille keyboard. That's why I did that. But I'm back and I'm very happy to be back. And that's it.
We have Hendrik.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yes, I'm Hendrik, also from South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not sure if it's the same Darlene that just spoke now, because then we're family. But yeah.
It's me.
Is it you? Great stuff.
There's your sister, bro. So there it is. That pretty darling.
My brother is married to his sister.
Small world.
Family in this.
Hey, what a beautiful party we're having here, celebrating a second part of the party.
I've been using Android since it came out. I never really used iOS. Before Android, I used Symbian, and I really did not have any experience with iOS, but my reason why I love Android is there's much more free apps available. It's much more easier to develop than for iOS, especially on your accessibility. And I think Android's accessibility where a lot of iOS users will say was behind, I think we're actually equal, if not past that already. But yeah, I love Android, and I'll always stay with Android. I'm still on Android 9, unfortunately, with a S8. But yeah, that is. I heard from Jacob Kruger from you guys, because we were discussing in a way to get the apps and websites more accessible to all disabled users. Now, that is all disabled users, not just blind, partially sighted, and that. Especially your big companies, your retail companies, banks, and that. So yeah, then he told me about the Android users, and because I also do a little bit of developing on the sideline, so he said I must listen to you guys, and I'm very glad he told me about you guys.
We're definitely glad to have you with us, and that you're a listener. And so you actually are a developer, so you develop applications, you program, you code on Android?
Yeah, I write in Flutter and Dart. That is a cross-platform language. See, I work full-time, and I only get a couple of hours a week to really program, and I do self-study on the program itself. I'm not qualified. I teach myself on that, because there is a lot of apps available out there, but some apps I needed more features that was not available. So I decided to write my own and include those features. And then I decided, well, why not just release it? And if anybody else can use it, they can use it. It is like for all sighted people, there's hundreds of one type of program. But for our blind or partially sighted users, or that, there's only 3, 4, or 5 that's available for free. The rest you must pay. And I do not know why commercial think our blind people is actually more paid than the sighted people. But yeah, everything is ridiculously priced.
And by the way, we're going to be having Hendrik here as one of our guests. I think maybe that's next week. I'm divulging that,
really?
but I'm not going to divulge the thing he's going to be talking about.
Oh,
and
I was just gonna say that we want actually be glad to have him as a guest.
Yeah, he's already in the pipeline. He's going to be coming next week as our
Okay.
special guest, and so let's keep that baby in there, shall we?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do. But all right, glad to meet all you guys from all over. And Daliana, I'm glad to see you also here.
All right, thank you. And then we have John. Hi, John.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. I have been a listener not too long, maybe a couple of months at the most. I think the way I heard about the podcast was from the YouTube channel Live Accessible with Carrie. I know you guys know Carrie. As she had mentioned you in one of their videos, so I wanted to check it out. And when I was listening to the podcast, I quickly realized that you guys know your stuff. So it was nice to see some people who are very technically savvy while still having visual impairments and blindness, which is a good combination, because a lot of times you'll find one and not the other. So I ended up joining the WhatsApp group, and for a little bit, until I realized all the cool kids were on Telegram, I joined Telegram, and I've been active in that group. But it's just nice to see the community that you guys have built with these blind people helping each other with these technical aspects of their phones that it's really hard to find, because I'm sure anytime you do a search for talkback on Google, all you find is like 30 posts, how do I turn talkback off? And you never get the answer to your question. So it's nice to have a community where you can talk to people and actually get your questions answered.
Well, yeah, I do agree with you, because I was in the same place like a few years ago when I didn't know about any community that actually discusses Android deeply and discusses screen readers and things like that. So it's been a blessing to find blind Android users, actually.
Yes, that's great. I love it.
By the way, John is very active on our Telegram and a very knowledgeable guy. Thank you so much, John, for all those contributions on our Telegram group. And did you tell people where you're coming from? Are you from the East Coast?
Yes, I am. I'm from the state of Virginia.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, thanks, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And then we have Ken.
thank you guys for inviting myself, Angel, and my co-host Raquel to the show. I also want to thank Warren and Austin, especially last week, for their contribution in our show. One of the things that I recall was when Angel told us about you guys, we actually had a discussion and said, it would be a wonderful experience and for our listeners to hear a perspective from blind users who uses Android, because you don't really see that experience in terms of a lot of Android users, but you do hear a lot of things about how great iOS is, how accessible it is. And I remember too, at the very beginning when I started in the radio with one other friend, he mentioned that the reason why Apple actually became as accessible as they are now was because of a lawsuit by the NFB. And for those international listeners, if you don't know what NFB is, it's the National Federation of the Blind. So they sued Apple, and Apple in turn said, okay, well, we're going to have to make the device useful. And if for those people who may or may not recall Apple, the first Apple phone or the second one, it wasn't accessible until I believe the third. And that's when you actually seen a lot of blind users using the Apple device. But that's enough about Apple. With regards to Android, they didn't have that issue, but their accessibility functionality, I think, has come a long way, because I remember last week when Warren, Austin, Raquel, and myself were talking about it, how before Jelly Bean, a lot of the Android devices, while it was useful, a lot of buttons were not labeled. So you'll get a button that says 52 and you're wondering what the hell does it do. So you double tap it and then you start hearing music. Oh, that's the play button. You'll hear another button that says 23 and you're trying to figure out what that is. Oh, that's the back button. So with regards to, Android Jelly Bean, I think most people will agree it was like the milestone of Android's accessible functionality. So that's it for me. But I hope you guys will join us in our show, Apps and Gadgets, in the future, because I think, both of our shows have a lot to contribute to the blind and visually impaired community. And I think with our different experiences, it brings a different perspective. So again, thanks again, you guys, for joining us. And if you guys are interested in hearing our show, it's Apps and Gadgets, and you can find more information at www.efmradio.com.
By the way, I just want to say, hey, thank you so much to you and Angel and Raquel for inviting us to your show last week after our show. And we were there till at, maybe just about 5 o'clock. So it was just nice, wonderful time we had together. And by the way, Ken, you didn't tell our people where you're joining us from.
It's kind of funny because my original background, I'm Chinese, moved to New York, and now I'm currently situated in Arizona.
So you're joining us from that desert out there in Arizona. I've always wanted to go to Arizona. I've never been there, but it's probably one of the most beautiful places I want to go. Grand Canyon and all of that. Thank you so much, Ken, for that. Appreciate it, bro.
No problem.
Then we have Nerman. Hi, Nerman. I think you're from Germany, so welcome.
Hello. I'm Nerman from Germany. I've been using Android since, 2015. And the way I heard about the podcast, I must admit that I just listened to, let's say, 3 or 4 episodes, the one also about Android 12, and the very first episode you just talked about, because originally I wanted to have some kind of substitute for the now gone Eyes Free list, because I thought, where have all these people gone? I mean, there was talk of alternative lists, but I didn't want to subscribe to anything else because I just thought, well, it's not really worth it. And then I got a new phone, thinking, okay, so where do I ask all my Android and Blindy related questions now? Then I've found Annotat, I think it was, and then I tried to subscribe, and it didn't really work out because it no longer existed. And then Blind Android Users was fairly new at that point, and then I got admitted there, and yeah, here I am. Yep.
Thank you so much, Norman. And you know what, Edward, I think he should give us a six-pack. He owes us a six-pack for only listening to 3 or 4 of our podcasts or episodes. You know what I mean?
Okay,
come on.
No six-pack for me. I'm not a beer person, but you can get German chocolate. How's that?
No,
yeah, I think that's okay, Norman, because we're going to be the ones drinking the beer. So the fact that you're not a beer person, it doesn't stop you buying it. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So then a six-pack for each of you, and plus some chocolate bars. Oh, wow. Okay.
Chocolat.
A bit of Wintersport will be fine. The Marzipan Wintersport will go down the treats.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what is it that, you have a party without a German beer? Come on, man. Bring some of that thing home.
Not sure how much that would cost, but yeah, quite expensive, I suppose, with all the customs and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Norman. We actually appreciate you for discovering us. Yes, Annotat was gone with the wind, and now here is a rebirth of blind Android users. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. Joining us from Germany.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, we have Yell. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that is the letter umlaut, actually pronounced O in Turkey, like Ömer. And Yeşiltaş, that acetylol, the eloquence or some English synthesizers cannot pronounce them well. So anyway, thank you very much for inviting me here. This is Ömer Yeşiltaş from Turkey. Actually, I have been trying to become a contributing person since the Symbian times. I had translated Nuance Talks, Mobile Speak, or some apps like Lost on GPS to Turkish for Turkish users. So, and in 2012, I have been an iOS user, actually. Started with iPhone 4S. And as I said before, where Warren was saying about fruit whales or some things like that, I was really getting very angry with him because of saying things like that. Anyway, but I used always an Android device. I mean, I had an Android device always along with my Apple device. First, for example, I started with, I think it was Samsung Galaxy Young or something like that. That was a keyboard phone similar to Nokia E72. And because it had Android 2.3 gingerbread, and it was impossible to use the touch screen with screen readers, so I was using it with keyboard. So then until 2019, actually, I used iPhone as my primary phone. And at last in 2019, actually, with the release of CSR or GSHO, and with a Braille keyboard, advanced Braille keyboard, I decided to use an Android phone as my primary phone and left my iPhone, actually sold it out to my friend. And now I'm using Android Xiaomi Mi 9T Pro, Android 11 on it, and primarily CSR with it because I can't use TalkBack. I don't like it, actually. I can't put up with it. It's very slow and laggy. So and cannot use Braille very well in Turkish, especially because the TalkBack Braille keyboard doesn't support it. So yeah, I'm using and I'm happy with my device and Android. And so yes, that's all I think.
Yeah, mainly you're a CSR user, so thank you so much for
So,
that.
Yes.
Omer, all you
Yes.
can hear is amen, amen from Miriam's corner out there. And, Omer and I go back to, some years ago, we were on some, kind of list, for boys. Excuse me, girls. Girls were in there too, right, Omer? But it was, back in the Symbian days, we're trying to help each other and things like that. You get the drift. But it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we are all pals here.
Yeah, right, exactly. I remember you actually. You were picking some phones from people, or to send them to.
Yeah,
to
I was donating because I had some blind people
Africa.
elsewhere
Yeah,
that had contacted me, wanted some phones, and so I'm like, hey, so I was buying some of these Nokia phones and sending them overseas to people who wanted to use those things. So, and you were helping me with some of the underlining stuff. I'm not going to talk about those things here, but
Anyway,
you know what I mean.
Yes, I understand you. But if you have a Nokia 95 8GB, you can donate it to me because I really like that phone very much. That was my favorite Nokia phone.
Oh, the 95?
With a 95, 8GB with stereo speakers.
I had that thing a little while ago, and
great sound. Yeah, exactly.
I found it in my drawer.
If I had one today, I would certainly use it. Yeah,
and
was
I think
great.
I sent it to someone who wanted it, but because I don't have any more Nokia phones, I probably had sent out about 30-something Nokia phones, over the years. It's just amazing. But thank you so much, Omer. We'll be coming back to you as the party progresses.
Yeah, sure.
But then, okay, you have to promise me, though, boy, that you're going to come back here and tell us about your Android journey. You haven't done that
absolutely.
yet.
Sure. Yeah, always. By the way, I heard the group. I heard the podcast from the blind Android users email group, like everybody did. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, I actually have used the Samsung Galaxy Young Dust before, and it was an amazing phone as a start, but it was pretty small, and I hated it back then afterwards. All right. We have Raquel. Hello.
I come from Arizona. I was actually born in Arizona, so I grew up in my whole entire life in Arizona with the hot weather. But I moved from places in Arizona, so I've been to some places to it. It was nice because before I heard of you blind Android users, I actually was talking to Angel about how it would be nice to be an actual even field for Android, because there used to be a group. Sadly, that group is no longer around no more, but there's the old podcast still on there. So Andrew and I were having a talk about it, and he's like, hey, that'd be nice. He found a different website. It wasn't as great. Then one day he comes back and tells me, well, I found this because he had a lot of problems with his phone. So he found and he's like, I found this website called blindandroidusers.com. I'm like, oh, nice. So he's the one who told us about you guys, and I'm like, yay, finally I feel even where Android can be exposed as accessible as it can be. And I wanted to say and thank you guys as well for last week. It was amazing to have you guys in our show.
Thank you so much, Raquel. It was wonderful when you guys hosted us. And boy, did we have that party. It was such a wonderful one. And you guys are doing a great job there with that apps and gadgets. And so if you haven't listened to this, guys, I absolutely encourage you to take a listen. You will not be disappointed. I love it when we have the blind community helping us in every way possible. And I like what you guys are contributing to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Salah. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yeah, that's me. My name is Sally.
Okay.
And yeah, long time no see for the podcast. I was there not so long time ago. Yeah. Only like last week. Yeah, everybody will remember me from the story that I had to remove my battery.
Yeah.
And I'm back again. The crew wanted, I'm back again. So it's Turkey, as I said. I'm from Turkey. So the place that I heard the podcast is the Blind Android Users mailing list. I was following you guys wherever you go, even the Ice Free, even the Annotated, or whatever you go. I was there, like quiet but steady, you know?
And you actually have been kind of more active on our Telegram group of late.
Yeah,
and that's
I'm
good.
like my primary messaging app is Telegram, so I'm more active there. So I'm trying to help people if I know they request the answers to their questions.
Yeah, and by the way, for anyone who hasn't joined our Telegram group, it's such a great group. Wonderful people like Sally
Yeah, of
and
course, it's
John,
growing,
and
yeah.
it's just a beautiful place to be. We're all relaxed and we talk about whatever. We don't really care, just like we do on the Blind Android list, email list. So
Yeah.
the same thing is true.
And be sure to
with our
join because
Telegram
I'm
group.
pretty sure we're gonna host a fight. Warren and I, we're gonna host a fight.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
anyone
We're
wants
going to
to
do the
join,
fight about the CSR.
Yeah, there's a link
'cause-
link on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to fight again.
Yeah, we're going to have that fight about CSR and TalkBack. I'm a diehard TalkBack user. Sorry, Omer.
Yeah, since I'm also
Oh, yeah.
CSR user.
Oh,
You are?
doggone
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Can I have a support here? Well, at least I have Hendrik and I have Nerman.
Yeah, of course, you're not alone.
Yeah, by the
still.
way, Warren, I have translated CSR to Turkish, actually. I forgot to.
Oh,
Yeah,
neat.
he's doing
Wow.
amazing job.
Yeah.
His
Neat.
translation is
Yeah, not from
amazing.
Chinese, not from Chinese, of course. Generally from English, yeah, sometimes from Chinese with the help of Google Translate, yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Hey,
should we
maybe
say
Ken could help in this translation. Hey, Ken, have you had any experience with CSR since we're on the subject matter of translation and all of that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. If I would find someone who could help me in Chinese, yeah, that would be really great.
Well, sorry to disappoint you. I have to agree with Warren there. I am a pure TalkBack user, and I actually have to say this because for those people who ever use the Samsung Galaxy S6 or the Note 6, if I remember correctly as well, during the same year that was released, Samsung decided to change TalkBack and say, hey, we're going to take TalkBack, change it, and call it Voice Assist. And
Yes.
I gotta disappoint those listeners and say, you're better with TalkBack, don't even bother.
Because look at what has happened. Now it's gone with the wind. We all have one TalkBack. And, the beauty is that anyone can take TalkBack since it's an open source thing and put whatever. I'll never forget that Shine Plus from South Korea.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of actually like Shine Plus and I wish they were still around. I still have that APK and I actually like that Shine Plus. It even works on my Android 12 and unbelievably it still does. And so I have another supporter. Thank you so much, Ken, for being my buddy out there, man. Out there in the trenches with me, bro.
Just for the TalkBack.
No
Yeah, but still, I do have a lot of supporters. I do have Austin. I have our listeners that use CSR. So yeah, I mean,
Let's say
using
I must say
CSR
to its defense that I've dipped my toes in, but I do like the ability of screen capture and all that stuff and OCR. That's really cool. But other than that, I don't know. It's not really. I'm not really against CSR, but some of its features just take quite a bit of time getting used to. So I don't know. Maybe I have to play around with it more or something. But it's not on my latest phone. unfortunately. And I don't even know if there's any current version on the Play Store.
There is, yes, but it doesn't have all the features, and it doesn't get updates as regularly as the normal version does. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
If you're gonna have something, you better have it on the Play Store. Now, even though I don't care about CSR, there's one thing I want to give them, and I'm not ashamed to say this. I like the fact that they took what Universal Copy does and even do it better. And so kudos to them for doing that. And I am thankful that we have another thing on Android, another screen reader.
Yeah. Isn't it
this
amazing
is where
that
Android
we
shines. I like that.
We got a choice, isn't it? Like, that's something amazing.
Yeah, that's something I don't really like, that we cannot really do copy and stuff, that we have to resort to other apps to do this. I mean, shouldn't we be able to natively just select stuff and copy as we go or whatever?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that has been the source spot on Android, and that has to do it with the fact that if you want to copy something on the web, you have to select everything on that web page and take it out and go paste it somewhere and clean it up. So it's a long process, and we're looking forward to. I'm an optimist, and I absolutely believe that we're going to be getting that feature. And so once we get that, then we'll be on a even kill with the other
I
screen
promise
readers and
all
things like that.
the listeners are here, so I promise that if this feature gets in TalkBack, I'm gonna use TalkBack again. Just
I'm not
because
really
I'm
too optimistic.
Well,
actually, I am optimistic, and then my fights with Mariam would be over.
No, not yet.
One of the things that
she loves fighting with me, doesn't she? Isn't that something?
But one of the things that
I hope this feature comes till 100 episode we celebrate.
Oh.
Oh, come on, bro.
I hope we get a feature till 100 episode.
Oh, come on, bro. Don't be such a pessimist.
My supporter out there, and you love CSR as much as I do. So, yes.
Well, here's the
and
thing,
I like
though.
it too.
But here's
you
the
like
thing.
CSR? Oh, thank you.
Yes, I've been using it for 2 years. Actually.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, we are here.
That's another defector.
Yeah,
Elena, I'm going to resend
to...
those roses I send you, my girl.
Yeah, I think you have to invite more people to support you, Warren.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think most people forget, and this is, I think, the most crucial thing as users of apps, whether it be iOS or Android, and because, a lot of the developers do have a email address on their webpage or in the App Store or the Play Store. And the biggest thing we as a community should do is, if we need something done and changed, we need to email the developers. So I'm going to start with, oh God, I forgot your name that was developing the apps. If you have your email and it's not accessible, just know that you're going to get emails from all of us.
We need to make a noise, big noises,
Exactly. So, if you don't make the noise,
that's what Apple users can do. Like, they are so really can get organized so easily, and they are doing it so efficient. We need to get organized, and we should get together, raise our voices together,
Well, yeah, I do agree with you there, because
yeah.
I remember back in 2017, I believe, as Arabs, we didn't have Arabic voices in Google TTS Engine, and we were so furious because when we get to set our Android phones up, we didn't have any Arabic voices to work with, so we need to switch it to English, and not all Arabic people have this knowledge, and we did actually something like a campaign. It lasted for a couple of years, and then Google.
Even here in Turkey, I voted for this campaign on change.org. Yeah,
and it succeeded, and actually we got our Arabic voices again. So that's an evidence here.
So are you guys telling me that if I turn on my brand new Android phone today, and I could actually activate Arabic from the list of languages?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Now, what if you don't understand English to go choose your language? How do you go about that? Know what I mean? No, seriously.
Well, actually, if your phone is in Arabic, when you just turn the TTS engine, Google TTS text to speech on, it works in Arabic. So you don't have to install it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though, I turn on my brand new shiny Android device, and it comes up in
phones
English.
will come set up in the language, Oren. So if you're buying a phone in Cairo, it'll come in Arabic.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. So if I buy it from that region, it will come with that language. That's neat.
Yeah, but what I wish they did, sorry to bring this up, but on iOS people have it a bit better in the sense that they have all the languages included from the get-go, which we don't have, because like whenever I have to set up a new phone in German, I have to stay in English, and with my Xiaomi phone that was pretty much it didn't work, because it would immediately switch to any language that it was enough to just focus the language and it would just switch, which is annoying because at that point you only have the talkback earcons and nothing else. So that's something I wish they'd put more focus on, to just have all the languages that have Google TTS or whatever. And it shouldn't be a problem, since, I mean, most phones, have like 32 gigs or whatever, or more space already available. So
yeah, I mean, and also
the Google TTS voices are really small in size, so you should include all of those languages.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I agree with Neriman. I think that iOS, and I call it Fruitvale just to make Omer upset.
No, not yet. I'm not.
Well, they have it right, because you hear the other languages on there, so that you hear your language and you could tap on that. Now, if your Xiaomi, Neriman, for example, was kind of unstable, I think probably maybe the one that was sent, or the one that you bought, probably wasn't intended for the German market. I don't know, but because
yes, it was. It's a global edition. So I bought it from Amazon in Germany, and it's a German phone. So
actually, that's the point. So when I buy a phone, it's not intended for Egypt user. For Egyptian user, it comes in English.
But Egypt is, English speaking country. I mean, in a sense, was you guys speak English out in.
No, we don't.
In Egypt, no.
No, we don't.
It used to be a British colony. You still have the pound, for crying out loud.
No, we don't. Actually, but strangely, we don't. We're pretty proud of Arabic. So.
Warren's just extended colonialism by about
my God.
50 years.
Yeah.
He's just rolled back independence in various African countries.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Well, I was in Egypt, though. The guys
even
spoke
more
English,
pink on the map than there was 5 minutes ago.
It was beautiful. They spoke English there, and it was good.
We spoke French as well, so actually it's cool.
Don't you guys speak Portuguese also?
No.
But I think that's Mozambique. That's Mozambique. And
Austin, India's back under British control now. Warren's kind of revoked everything.
Oh,
back pre-1947.
No, Gandhi will cut my head off,
Gandhi and Neri, they both aren't happy with you.
And another thing that iOS...
go on, I'm so sorry.
I
wanted to add something.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Raquel, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Now, I was going to say, since you guys were mentioning how iOS has a better... I don't think that they have it much better, and this is going to say why. Because it's getting to the point that voiceover, it breaks as Tapback does. So I think in the way it's going, Tapback's gonna beat a voiceover a bit, because voiceover is having a lot of bugs. So the Tapback is actually a little better, in my opinion, in some sense, that you don't have to restart it every time it breaks on you. And that's what I wanted to add.
Well, yeah, I mean, Talkback restart itself, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And also, I think what iOS did right in a certain way is for Braille users, they've included all anything having to do with Braille, be that Braille keyboard on screen or Braille display support, right into VoiceOver, which I think Google should have done with the accessibility suite ages ago, to include Braille back with all the rest, because I mean we have all the what's it called, read stuff in there with accessibility, and we have all the motor impairment. Select to speak, that's it. And we have all the motor impairment things included. So why not include Braille back from the get-go? That would be
and we
cool.
should also include in the rotor. You know what? In VoiceOver, Braille is including the rotor itself, and people just can switch from switch the tables and things like that. It's amazing. Also, the support for Braille displays. Like I for instance, I'm a person who uses HumanWare Mantis Q40. It still is not supported with Braille back, which is,
And part of that, though, I think the human, what do you call it? HumanWare, whatever that company is, a lot of their devices are just, I don't know. But though, even though they are, joining the Android, bandwagon and all of that, though, but I think that the reason why Brailleback is not part of the Android accessibility suite is because it didn't start that way. And hopefully, though, like Nirman is saying, if they kind of get integrated into it, that would be fine. That would be actually better, because whenever the Android accessibility is updated, then that also will get some update. But then, yet in the same breath, that's another strength of Android, because these components are separate, and if there's a problem, those things can be addressed, independently versus waiting for the whole OS before it gets addressed.
Yeah, I partly agree, but only partly, because Braille is for people who have an impairment, if you will. So I think it would be fair to just include it. And if accessibility suite gets updated, then that gets updated as well. So you wouldn't really break the OS update versus a single app update, which that's the strength of Android.
And what if someone who's he has like multiple disabilities, is blind and deaf, for instance?
He's using we're not saying that Brailleback is a great app. No, I'm one of those that criticize Brailleback. Actually, Brailleback isn't quite there yet, and it's one of the drawbacks for deaf-blind people of using Android, because Brailleback is not very good in the current state that it's in. And so I'm looking forward to when Brailleback actually will get better and become usable, now that we can actually mute TalkBack and be able to use Brailleback the way it's intended. But the problem is that lack of scrolling pages independently without TalkBack or without touching the screen. I think that's one of the major drawbacks of
when was Brailleback last updated?
I say maybe a couple years ago,
maybe
2019.
1.5 years ago or something, or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Can I just come in here quickly?
Go, Hendrik.
Yes. I just want to, I think it was John that said about the emailing and contacting the developers and everything. Now, the thing is, if we only talk about it, but we don't put requests in, a sighted person, me as a blind person, that does not do Braille at all. I never did Braille in my life because I wasn't blind. I was from standard 4, I was partially sighted, and I'm only now blind. So I can't read Braille, I do everything digital. So for me, in my apps to include, say for instance, Braille, wasn't high on the priority. It was more for me on screen reader and that. What sighted people further do is they see, they need to get the stuff as accessible as possible. They prioritize the stuff. Now they're coming with the screens and all that kind. But if they do not get enough feedback on, say, for instance, Braille, what do you guys call it? The Braille...
Brailleback.
Yeah, if they do not get enough feedback on that, say for instance, they only get like 20 complaints about that, and they get 70 complaints about labels that must be done, or alternative text for images on that. They're going to rather address the one that's got the higher priority. So the whole thing is, if you find a problem, don't just sit back. Contact them and get as much people, blind people that use Brailleback, do contact them. It takes some time sometimes because it must be reprogrammed and recompiled and everything. But if they do not get enough feedback on it and complaints on it, then they're going to push it down the ladder. But the more complaints they're going to get about the thing, the higher they're going to put it on the priority list, if you know what I mean.
You are absolutely right, Hendrik, because there are not many Braille users out there, so it doesn't get that vocal outcry like other apps would have, and so it's something that we need to keep bringing up to Google, and I'm sure they're working on it, but we need to be more vocal about that, and hounding on it, if you will, and that will kind of get us somewhere. Yeah, but
I mean that's what I already did. I've emailed HelpTech, the manufacturer of my Braille display, a dozen times. I've raised concerns about Brailleback not finding the device. I've even, back when Victor Saran was on the Google Eyes Free list, I've even had personal exchanges with him about the display. I've even talked to a friend of mine who's a software developer with HelpTech, and he said we've just emailed everything we could about the key bindings, about anything they need to incorporate our display into Brailleback, but they've never really done anything about it. So yeah, I mean, at some point you, as an end user, try to look for alternatives. Yeah, I mean, actually, you've tried to look for alternatives, and then the alternative for me was BRLTTY at that point, which unfortunately isn't that intuitive to download for people who don't spend their life using tech and trying to troubleshoot stuff and whatever. It's not really intuitive, but once you install it, it works. But you have to kind of just find the stuff and install it, and so it's not really for the average Android user, and that's what I mean, unfortunately.
Because I want to install it, and I don't know. Does it support actually the HumanWare -Q40, or you don't?
I don't really know, but
I'm not sure. I don't think it does.
It should. Ask the developer. I think it's Dave. One of them is Dave Mielke. The site where you can get it is www.brlcty.app, and that's where you can get the Android version. And there's also contact details and stuff, so you can contact all the developers and ask questions, and
And it was updated earlier this year, so it's current. Is that the case with all HelpTech displays? Or is it just the Actilino that doesn't work?
No, the Actilino does not work. There are other displays that do work. For example, the Brailleino, that's kind of the predecessor, does work. I don't really know about other displays like the Active Braille.
Braillewave,
Braillewave. I've never really tried my Braillewave, actually. That's interesting.
You see, you do have thousands of Braille displays.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's got at least two.
Listen here, bro. Listen here.
I have two. That's
thousands of Braille displays.
No, I have 1,000 displays minus 998.
I bet you've got Papenmeyer Braille X Lives.
Oh, come on, bro.
No, I don't.
Come on, bro. No, man, these are your brothers from another mother, man. Come on.
Not really. No, so I only have Braillewave and the Actilino, which I bought used, by the way. It's a used device, not brand new, but still I love it because it's so lightweight.
Braille displays.
Yeah, thousands. I'm the Braille display manufacturer. I'm the hoarder. I buy them each and every manufacturer. I mean, I have everything from Focus Blue to Mantis to no, just kidding.
So the mantis, the mantis, is that like the praying mantis I find in my garden? Is that what we're talking about?
He's more like the collector of Braille displays. So he's gonna start a museum, and you're gonna see like the first ever created Braille display, and you're gonna go up to all the way up to like the
I
most
have to go
modern
out
Braille
there and
display.
watch it and feel those things.
What the manufacturer of my Braille display did actually, when I called them about Brailleback support, actually they made their own fork of Brailleback that you have to download in their website and then sideload. And I don't know it. It says when I installed it, there was Play Protect that said it. I was on Android 10, and it said it wasn't made for that version of Android, but it worked. But I didn't even try it on 11. But I should try BRL TTY instead. Maybe it will.
Yeah, I get that error with BRL TTY on Android 11, but it seems to work okay.
Yes,
I get that. Not designed
See,
for this
the
version.
problem with the BRLTTY, and I wonder why the guys are not putting it on the Play Store, and I don't know what's going on, but I would love for them to put that thing on the Play Store so it'll make it easier for people to kind of get to it, because like Nerman says, if you're not into, technical stuff and all of that, and most especially if you happen to be like me who doesn't like side-loading apps or APKs and things like that, one may shy away from things like that, although I have it. And I will say, though, that sometimes I don't quite like it. It's a little bit complicated. I'm sorry. It's just, for me, though, I like an app that is easy to use, but when an app I have to configure this and configure that, it takes away the joy, and I don't have time for that.
Does it actually get updates or not? I mean,
yeah, it does.
It does.
That's my problem with side-loaded app is that
that's why he needs to put it on the Play Store.
Yes.
Depends
Actually,
on the
I
side-loaded
tried-
app as well, doesn't it? Because some of them will update themselves. When you go and open them, they'll go and check for new versions of themselves.
I tried it, maybe 2 years ago, and I think I didn't find it as stable as Brailleback. It was so in those days, but not, I don't know, right now.
Yeah, I think what it is, though, it supports more devices, and especially because this thing was intended like for Linux stuff, and however down the line, he made it to where it's now workable with Android. And like I said, it supports probably more devices, but you have to know what you are doing. There's too much to it. And I think of it like the Aquamail. Aquamail is a great client, but if you don't know how to configure it, you're not going to like it.
Well,
that's how BRL
I'm
TTY
thinking of
is.
actually if we could have a series that explains BRL TTY, like we do have with CSR or something. That'd be pretty.
And that's another major downside to the CSR. If you don't know how to configure that thing, it leaves you spinning around like a head, like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah, I do agree with you there, because I did have some problems when I first saw it. Yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah,
but
we
Warren,
have
you guys
episodes
are
showing
now
you that.
here for us to hear how to do it, and you guys can do a podcast on how to do it.
Yeah. So okay, Hendrik. So if the Brailleback, for example, was done right, for you as a developer, you don't need to do anything as long as your app is properly labeled. You are fine. You don't need to, find a way, say, how do I make it work with Brailleback? Because if it has all the labels and all of that, then someone using Brailleback would simply be able to read those labels and find out that all the buttons are labeled correctly. So it's Brailleback's job to do their own job, and for you as a developer to make sure that your app, complies with Google guidelines of making sure that you have all the buttons labeled. And once that is done, then those of us on the accessibility side of things that use accessibility will not have difficulty using your app at all.
No, that's great.
I've just checked, and the Braille TTY archives, and on Braille TTY 6.1, I think it mentions the Mantis Q40 for what it's worth, and then the Chameleon 20. So, certain kind of, I'm assuming that it will work at least.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Mariam. That's what I'm saying. They support more devices in reality. They do.
Yeah.
So yeah, just try it and see if it'll if it'll work. As I said, it's just
Yeah,
kind
actually,
of a
my
pain
Windows
to
Beta is gonna
install.
arrive like next week, so I'm gonna.
But
Do
just
you know,
mind
Norman,
any
if
troubles.
BRLTTY will turn pages like in Kindle, or do you have to?
No, it
Wow.
does not. It
I
does
think
not.
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I have it. It doesn't.
No, I didn't think it did.
No.
I haven't got it
Oh,
to, but I wasn't sure if I was
why?
missing
I'm
something.
Yeah, but for me,
I'm a
it's
Kindle
better
user.
than no Braille. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, it's better than no Braille, most especially if you have a device that is not supported by Braille back, and if
Yes.
BRLTTY supports it, then absolutely you want to make sure to get that.
Yeah.
If anyone has some more closing remarks and things like that, or if anyone has some announcements of some sort that they would like to make, feel free to do so. This is one family.
I just want to say
happy.
one thing. I just want to thank you guys at Blind Android Users for your podcasts, because it teaches us something, and trust me, I listened to a few, and I learned a lot about the book readers. I love my book, so I'm glad, and I thank you guys for hosting it and making it possible that we that can't go Google everything can learn something from you guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Hendrik. And by the way, I think I just submitted another ebook reader, and I think it's the e-reader Prestigio. That is going to be on our Android, on our YouTube channel.
It's already up.
It's already up
It's
on
up,
our YouTube
yeah.
channel, and
I love
did
this
that
ebook reader. I've read it
yesterday,
before.
and it's a beautiful ebook reader. And I'm going to be putting up some more of the ebook readers there for that series.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you guys exist, because back when I started with Android, I think it was on an Moto G2, which had like Android 5 or something pre-installed, Lollipop. And I could have thrown it out the window because I was so frustrated when I did not manage to enter my PIN and all the stuff that was necessary. Like I was struggling for 2 days, and I'm like, oh wow, this thing, if I don't master this is going out the window. But I'm glad that I've stuck to it, and because everyone was telling me, oh wow, if you want to have an accessible phone, just go for the iPhone, because the iPhone is the thing. Apple is the thing. Accessibility is just great. And sometimes when I help my father with stuff on his iPhone, I'm like, okay, so why is this thing an innovation? Okay, they do have image description and stuff that we don't have yet natively. But then again, like some of the gestures and some stuff is just so confusing at times that I think, wow, I'm so glad that I don't have an iPhone.
I found it pretty much instinctive for me, because it would do. It would react and do what I mean. For example, I would use dictation, and I wouldn't. It wouldn't write what I want, and I would shake it like that, and this is how you can solve dictation, And I found the rotor pretty much that way, but I think yes, the rotor, for example, is. Many people seems to be okay with it, but I can't help but say it's kind of complicated.
I think that rotor is probably one of the most convoluted things, but I know the guys from that place would want to cut my head off for saying that. But I hear people, talk about the angular gestures and complain about the angular gestures on Android, and yet in the same breath, these are the people that are able to do the rotor, and I'm like, what's up with that? I really don't get that. To me, twisting my, my fingers, and come on, man, give me a break.
Yeah, actually, you know what? The angular gestures, they have been released as an update for CSR, and then users started complaining, and actually the developer turned them back off, which pissed me off.
Well, yeah, so those are people coming from the other side.
Yeah, the rotor is just like, I don't know, I always imagine it as turning a knob, basically, so that's what the rotor is, and it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against it, and just
but
but
I'm
some other
turning
gestures
the
are
knob
kind of,
with my fingers. I'm not grabbing it like I grab a doorknob, and and I mean, because I teach tech to kids in schools, and I tell you, kids have trouble using that, and so some of those guys, we transition them to Android, and they're actually faring better than the iOS. I know it sounds kind of out of place for someone who's coming from iOS. Will say, hey, actually iOS is better, but now there are some kids out there that actually prefer the Android way of doing those gestures. It's amazing.
Go on. Sorry.
Sorry, there's a friend of mine who went from the Smart Vision 2 to the SE 2020 that she received yesterday, and frankly, I hope she will be fine with that because that's going to be. I thought she would go for perhaps going from an Android to another. What I told her essentially. If in doubt, Pixel 4a, but she went with an iPhone. Hopefully, she's gonna be fine with that.
Yeah, Raquel, you are gonna say something.
I was gonna say, that if they ever implemented the rotor settings on the Android phone, I'm throwing that away. Hell no. I'm sorry, but for that, I already kind of had a fit when they changed that gesture for the wording. I actually did not like it, and I think adding the rotor to it, it's gonna be a bit much, especially because voice assist uses Dynagalaxy. Doesn't use that, but voice assist uses similar gestures as voiceover, and that's actually confusing because the new and I said this last week, but and at least in my show, but you wanna treat that as a iOS device, and that's not great. I actually like Android uniqueness, and I always say this to people: if a lot of Android's not for you, then if the best thing is to stick with iOS, and if iOS is not for you, the best thing is to stick with Android. It depends how comfortable you are, but the day they do that, I'm throwing that away.
I thought the same way, and the other problem with Samsung's voice assistant is, I believe there were some arbitrary restrictions, like I just heard about it, I couldn't verify it, but for example, if it's enabled, you cannot use some functions like multi-window or something. And the worst is with the watches on Tizen, where if the app isn't made for with the screen reader in mind, it will simply not even try to use the screen reader with that app. And in that regard, I'd say Samsung going with TalkBack and with Wear OS is probably better.
Now, Raquel, I actually hear you on what you are saying. I think that what Android has done, and I applaud them for, wanting to attract people coming from the other side of the aisle and all of that, and that's what the intent is. But being Android, though, you should make these things to be something that is a toggle. So if someone preferred legacy gestures and all of that, let them have that choice, because it's all about choice. And that is currently missing and is not good. And by the way, and I've said this, and some people thought I was a knucklehead or, some cook from out of nowhere. But what I'm saying is that they didn't get it right, because if you're going to be consistent like what Apple has, then make the gestures the same. In other words, don't tell me when I'm reading word by word or character by character that I swipe down. But if I'm reading heading by heading, I don't swipe down. See, with iOS, it's all consistent. It's all the same thing. You swipe down regardless of the granularity that you have chosen. And that is not the case. And I pointed this out, and some people didn't quite get what I was talking about and say, well, forget about it.
No, I see you.
Maybe you were talking more about like as if you were imagining it more like a cursor movement, like cursoring up and down, maybe some sort of because you don't read headings up and down either, I guess. So that may be your...
but it's still really, it's difficult to remember. And if every single navigation type is different than the others.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
same.
Keep it consistent like they have on Apple. That's my whole point. Don't make it different for words or characters and then the other ones are this way. It's just inconsistent. And I think it was a mistake on the part of the developers of TalkBack, and I hope they get it right.
I hope they actually fix that, to be honest, because like you said, it'd be nice if they actually have a toggle on it, like to select some of the things, just like for people, like if they want, for example, if they want that little wheel that they're so fond of it, they should have the option to and disable and enable it. Like I think TalkBack can become a better screen reader if it chooses to be honest with you. And I think when we less expect it, TalkBack will be a part with everything. A bit more than VoiceOver, if since it's easier to develop, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And so, Google, listen, if you're listening to these knuckleheads out of here, do something about it, shall we? I know you guys listen to this podcast, so do something about it.
Please.
There's one other thing too, and you guys bring up good points, but at the same time, I think if you think of TalkBack as a human being, when it's at its early stages was like an infant, it didn't really know what direction it wanted to go. And now that they're making these changes with regards to like adding a rotor versus flicking down and flicking up to go by different granularity versus the original. I believe it was a swipe up, then to the right gesture, or swipe down and to the right gesture. It was more like at that point, we're at the toddler stage. Like, it's able to do a lot of things that, hey, we could do this, we could change that. We could take some of the things that Apple has done and we can include it. But it hasn't gotten to its maturity yet. And I actually will have to agree with what Raquel said. Once TalkBack has become a more mature screen reader, and also as some of you guys have mentioned with regards to BrailleBack, while some users may not use BrailleBack, it should be incorporated in the Android accessibility suite, because again, it is a component that some users may want to use. And unless we as a community provide feedback to Google and we pressure and persistently tell them, hey, listen, you need to fix this. It can't just be like a once a year update. It has to be like a 6-month update or even 3-month update. Look at, for example, when in the United States, we went from United States grade 1, 2, and 3 Braille to UEB Braille. And I think a lot of the Braille users who were so familiar with USA Braille were like, I'm not switching to UEB Braille. This is what I'm used to. Why am I going to learn something new? I've even heard people who said, I'm 50, 60 years old. Why am I going to learn something new? Why can't I stick with the USA Braille that I'm used to? Because truth of the matter is, we're all comfortable to some degree. And I don't know if you guys ever had this said to you or told by you from a rehabilitation instructor, but one of the things you can do for a blind user is, say, for example, if you were to get a milk from the refrigerator, it's always on the upper right-hand corner. Now, all of a sudden, if you move it to the back left-hand corner, all of a sudden, the blind user is not going to know where the milk is. While I get that consistency, it helps, but sometimes it causes us to be lax and lazy. And I think this is one of the greatest things about Google is that it challenges the user. And that's why I think TalkBack is still in its like toddler stage until it can, get its act together and get into a more mature state. We're going to end up stumbling and we're going to learn as Google learns. And I don't know if you guys agree with that too.
No, and I see your point on that. can too, because the problem too with Google is that sometimes you have great people and sometimes you have people that sometimes can be a little bit of a jerk. And I say this because I remember the time when we were sharing Google Play Music. That was a pain in the butt. Then we called in. Then we got somebody who didn't know anything. Then we had somebody, and then you called back in. Then you had somebody who knew their thing. And it's like, Google needs to keep everybody up in loop and to where they're doing, not have one person know a little bit more than the other. I think Google's a community. They need to actually have meetings and be in in a group and work together as an actual group as they are. Because if they don't, it's gonna be hard for them.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
it's
Google's
true.
still a great thing. It's still a great company, but the thing is that they take a lot of time to develop something new. Like, how much we waited until Google Play Music became YouTube Music, and then YouTube Music became a really good thing. And then it's just something that really annoys me about Google, that it's a huge company. Like, guys, it's Google, and they don't do what users want, which pisses me off.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem, though. When something becomes big, you just think of it. I kind of compare it to, like, my place of worship. And this is why sometimes I don't like, going to like big churches or big places of worship, because you're just another face in there. You don't get to know each other that well. And so when a company becomes that huge and all of that, some things kind of fall between the cracks, and certain things are not given priority to, or the department that takes care of that is not being monitored and things like that and all of that. And so I can see how that can become a problem. But like what Raquel says, sometimes you call some help and someone knows about it and someone doesn't. I had that experience myself, and I was talking about Lookout back then, and the girl was talking about Envision. I said, no, there's an app, that actually from you guys, from Google, called Lookout. And I'm just talking about the fact that it doesn't have a customization for me to choose a TTS to use it with. And she wasn't understanding it. She was pointing me to Envision, and it was frustrating. Finally, she got what I was talking about.
Wow.
So I see what you're talking
Here's
about,
Google
and I'm not
pointing
kidding.
you to something else.
Yeah.
To another application. That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's what I often hear on Reddit. They like to say Google. It's like Google have teams that don't always talk to each other or something like that. And sometimes that's how it feels.
Well, we're still waiting for Google. I still have faith in them. So even though they sometimes mess up things, but and like Lookout doesn't get updates. And back when we didn't have Lookout, I was like, people were always kind of saying, oh, okay, especially on iOS side, we do have Seeing AI. I was like, okay, now we have Lookout. Don't talk to me. So yeah, I mean, it's still a good thing.
The Seeing AI, I forget about Seeing AI. Those guys keep teasing, Android users. Oh, we want you to take a survey, blah, blah, blah. I remember that back in 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, me too.
Microsoft wanted us to do this, and nothing came out of it. And frankly,
came out.
I don't care about the Seeing AI. I have it on my Fruitvale device. I don't care about it. Frankly, to be honest, we just have too many good third-party apps that even do a better job than Seeing AI. And I'm glad they are the ones that kind of got there first and paved the way, and giving everyone a heads up. And so we bless as a result of their efforts. So I congratulate them for that. But beyond that, they want to bring it to Android or not, I don't give a rat.
Yeah,
but it's a bit frustrating that you have Microsoft and they are like, we love Android. I'm pretty sure eventually they said we prefer Android, and they never ported the app to Android, in fact. So
no. And they have so many apps for Android. Actually, I think that Android is the one that's giving Microsoft a leg up because, they have so many things for Android and all of that.
Like
But
just see the Microsoft folder on your phone. It's just you have Word, PowerPoint, and a lot of stuff. And
and they're being cavalier about it. I mean, I was in conversation with this guy from the UK, and he was going to come to the Seattle area and wanted to meet me and all of that. And so we were planning on that, and then he stopped writing, and then the Corona thing came in, and all that's gone with the wind.
Yeah, but I must say that I do like envisioning because it's it never fails when I have to read mail and stuff. It's so cool. Even, for example, in Germany we have this service that they'll scan your mail, for sorting purposes. They do that anyway, and then they send you a copy of the envelope via email. So I can just open the email and open the picture of the envelope and just forward it to Envision AI, and bang, I have the text of the envelope, which, wow, that's so cool.
I feel like Envision is doing a really great job, and they're listening to the users, because I was one of the first people who actually, I was testing Envision when it was beta before, and I was like, yeah, I love Envision. And when I paid for it, when it became actually premium, I was like, yeah, that's the thing that I want to pay for, and I'm pretty satisfied that they're gonna just listen to me and be responsive when I talk to them about anything. So, yeah, I mean, Envision is amazing.
Because back then I took an advantage of that discounted lifetime membership offer or whatever it was, and it's so cool. I just love the app.
Yeah, they do a lot of sales actually. Summer sales and winter sales and New Year's
I'll
sales.
definitely share your words with them because I work for Envision. So yeah, they will know that.
Thank
you.
Well, that's good, though, because Envision, was one of the very first ones on Android that, started bringing us some of that AI, Microsoft AI functionalities. And so I have them to be thanked for because of what they've done in Android and that,
and please give them a shout for the excellent support
honestly,
for Arabic.
Being honest, they suffer from lack of feedback. So I don't know what we should do. On iOS side, they get a lot of feedback and a lot of users are passing by. But on Android side, they're suffering from lack of feedback and lack of user
And I think that
base.
sometimes why these things happen is, you have a developer that started on Android, and then when they move on to iOS, they kind of tend to forget about their humble beginnings, and therefore it kind of pisses off the other guys that were on Android, for example, So don't do that. Don't do that.
For Android side, Envision is they keep on constantly working on it. I'm in the kitchen, so I know how the thing's going on. I do constantly give them feedback.
Oh, so give us an exclusive thing.
We actually love the Envision guys, and I think I'm going to have Karthik back on here again and get to meet and talk with people and all of that. But really, Envision has done a great job, and all the other ones that followed.
I was with Karthik 2 days ago. We were trying to fix something related to age detection on Android. So be sure that we are still working on things related to Android. My primary OS is Android, so still I don't have a Fruitwheel device.
So keep that fire burning there, my boy.
Yeah, right.
I always read the what's new whenever there's an update to Envision. I always read the what's new, and I'm like, whoa, yay, cool thing. I mean, I didn't have that issue, but I'm glad they fixed whatever it was, and it's so cool. So yeah.
Nirmal, do you like the tabs being on the bottom now? The tabs are moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually better because the way it was not intuitive. Yeah.
And we're gonna. There's a spoiler. We're gonna bring object detection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Okay, Envision team, if you are listening, you can hear the cheering from the group
I'm a
of the
beta
blind
tester,
Android
so
users.
did that already be released for? I don't think so.
No, there's no release, but they are still working on it. It's gonna be there in June.
Okay.
Hey, So tell Karthik I want him to come on. Maybe sometime in
I'll
June.
do that. Yeah, for sure.
I would probably
I'll
want you
pass-
both to come in here and
Yeah,
Both
sure,
you and
yeah.
Karthik have to come on. So let him know when you guys are gonna come. Let us know when you guys are gonna come on. So just talk to him and let us know.
Yeah,
and I'll have you
surely.
boys come on here and we have
Surely.
another party.
Yeah.
There's also another app that's also good, and that's Voice Stream Scanner, and I believe that came out in the Android side. I know that they took forever to pull out the Voice Stream reader, and I believe they just put out the scanner on it too. But that's a good app too, a part of Vision.
It is a very good app, Raquel. And like I've always said, if someone likes the good old KNFB reader or whatever, this is even better because I like the way that, it detects the, once all the corners, 4 corners are detected, you hear that, the tone goes up higher and all of that. It's a great app. Actually, I use it from time to time. I have so many of those things, but it's a good one.
Voice Dreamer Scanner. The thing that I really hate about Voice Dreamer Scanner is that it doesn't support Arabic, while Envision does. So, and it's actually an excellent support. And whenever I want to just convert a PDF to text or whatever, I always use Envision because it's an amazing application. We don't have actually an alternative at the moment, but
that's great to hear.
So can you read Arabic? I mean, through OCR, can Envision do that?
Yes,
really?
It does.
That's really neat.
Do that amazingly.
Oh, that's nice.
It
Actually,
even can does Russian.
Oh,
Russian,
really?
yes.
That's beautiful, though.
Здравствуй, привет.
Привет, man.
Norman, can you say that again? That sounded so good.
No.
I love it. No, frankly, that was so good.
Russian people, sorry for the language.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so talented. I tell you, this is what I like about our group because it's so diverse and it's a beautiful thing.
I'm not sure about the podcast, but like regularly we should come together and just talk about anything.
That's where the Clubhouse is. We need to make the Clubhouse active.
Yeah, I go there, but I don't see anybody there.
Yeah, actually, Telegram group has also voice chat functions
the voice chatting
that we can.
Yeah.
I try to get that going, but I don't get anyone responding.
I can help you there, yeah.
Sadi's Telegram group, yes.
Clubhouse is an interesting app. It's cool. Since it's officially on Android, it's great. I don't know. I like it.
Let's try it someday.
Sometimes, but it's overall it's really a nice app. Interesting.
It is good, and we need to keep it active. And so we need to start the room and have people to come in. I think we were there like a week or a little more than a week ago.
I fell off the Blind Android Clubhouse, but
we might have something like after the in the middle of the week or something, or on the weekend. Or actually, we're in the middle of planning something. I guess we should plan something for that Clubhouse.
I think we'll do it tomorrow. We'll have a room tomorrow.
Okay. Yes.
And the nice thing about Clubhouse on Android side is that it is fully accessible. I remember 2 weeks ago, we actually did on our show, the Apps and Gadgets show, a comparison between Clubhouse on the Android side and the iOS side, and they were both really really great because it allows the users, to see things. And there were some minor differences, but for the most part, the meat and potato of the app is fully accessible on both ends.
They're fast enough working on Android. They got 2 updates in a row.
Well, the guy who's doing the help sessions, he told me that they really do listen and take feedback seriously. So our initial Android version apparently is much more accessible than the beginnings of iOS were back then, because there was a lot of unlabeled stuff and
Actually,
there's
no
Neil,
unlabeled.
whatever his name is. He told me about how that came to.
Hello, everybody. Warren, my man, everyone. This is Harris. I'm on with Warren and a couple others, and maybe not for everybody. So Well,
Oh
nice to
my
meet you.
gosh, Harith, you just arrived. What happened, bro?
Connection.
So how about you tell people about yourself? You know, where you're joining us from and all of that. I was wondering. I kept thinking about you in the back of my mind, and I'm like, well, that boy dissed me again. You know.
First, I met Warren. I was a refugee in Turkey, and then I went back to my home country for a while, and now I'm with my family in Algeria.
Oh, you're from Algeria.
No, I'm originally from Iraq, but currently, I live in Algeria.
Oh, hello. I'm from Egypt there, so we were beside you.
That's cool. That's so nice. So I think most of the Egyptian blind Android users know me. They call me Harith from Iraq or Harith al-Iraqi. I
love that.
I was with Android since the beginning. And
hold on. It's not something I'll leave the podcast, but I think I saw you in the VPN room on Clubhouse a few days ago.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And I was the one who introduced the Arabic TTS to Android Arab users since the beginning of 2012, and I was with Android since 2011, and ups and downs and routing and custom ramen and all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, pretty nice. I'm enjoying my time with the phones and with my brother Warren. I pretty much like the way we deal with Android and the discussions, disagreeing, the agreeing, and sometimes fighting and whatever.
Here's the main question we ask anyone because we do have a fight here. So, are you a CSR user or a TalkBack user?
Say again, please.
Oh my gosh! You know, she's trying to start a fight with me. I know where this is going.
What she said because it was like.
Are you a commentary screen reader user or you are a TalkBack user?
Oh, I use whatever works with me. I don't have feelings towards technology because I think I lost my eyesight since I was 36. So actually, I'm dealing with accessibility or assistive technologies all as tools. So I don't have actual feelings toward them. I just use whatever works.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So here, bro. So what's going on is that Mariam is gathering this army to battle against me.
One thing should be important from commentary because TalkBack could use the huge resources from Google. The virtual screen, they should do it. If they didn't, it's a shame. Because
we do have that in CSR actually.
Commentary are OCRing the screen even before the iOS voiceover did. And now TalkBack is like 2-3 years behind with that. And they do have the resources.
Yes.
By default, they just need the linking. That's all.
Commentary also has per-app gestures. You can assign gestures for every app. That
exactly.
TalkBack and VoiceOver doesn't even have.
And the auto translation, I was shouting since the beginning.
That translation thing came up. That translation thing doesn't work for me because it doesn't support Turkish. I don't know why, but Baidu doesn't have a Turkish option.
Yeah, we're talking about Google here.
Sorry,
Google have all languages, vice versa. So they should have been the first who did it. We've been asking for it since ever, even before commentary been invented. But who knows? They do it slow. They get in there eventually. Maybe our grandchildren would enjoy TalkBack someday.
Still, CSR is better.
Maybe the baby
Mariam is always rubbing it in on me,
You know what? The official question we should ask any listener before joining that: Are you a CSR user?
That should be as a form for joining the list.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
That's kind of a divider.
I think the TalkBack army is on the verge of extinction here.
Yeah.
No. They're doing that. Actually, that TalkBack is more stable than commentary. Commentary is full features. It has lots of features, but it always loses something, and it always has some new bug need to be squashed. It's constantly developed. That's the main difference. They're constantly developed.
That's
Talkback,
true.
they do like one each 6 months, and sometimes they would go to sleep for like 6
I
months.
agree
or
with
so.
you.
Yeah.
Talkback, although I don't use commentary, but like I said earlier on, Harith, you missed that part, is the fact that I'm saying that, kudos to them for, most especially when it comes to that capability of being able to select words or characters or, lines or paragraphs, whatever, even on a web page and things like that. I think that's a huge accomplishment on their part, and I commend them for doing that.
Well, the thing that I really love about CSR is that it splits everything into menus, so you won't be disturbed with the main UI of the application that you're using. So it splits the navigation menu that has paragraphs and lines and words, so you can copy what you want without disturbing the main UI of the app or web browser you're using. So it's an advantage still.
I have a question for you guys, because you guys are talking about how some prefer TalkBack, others prefer CSR. What if TalkBack and CSR did a cooperation and integrated both of their strengths into one app?
Well, that won't happen at all. But if they did,
actually, I saw that a few days ago. Maybe not a few weeks ago. Somebody has actually gave me an app developed by Huawei. That's the phone manufacturer.
Yes.
The Huawei screen reader. It's an actually mixture of CSR and TalkBack, very similar to TalkBack, but has some features taken from CSR. Yeah, that's a very interesting screen reader, but it's also slow like TalkBack. But I think it can be developed. It can be more stable in the future because it's in still beta version.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I think we'll need to bring this thing to a close. I know Mariam is kind of really thrilled about this fight going on.
Yeah, but she found it.
But you know what? Here's what I want to say.
She knows how to stir the pot with the
beef.
But she found a substitute to fight.
She does. But here's what I'm trying to say. Amidst all of that, the one thing that I come away with is that, we are both being served with a CSR or TalkBack. And the good thing is that if TalkBack doesn't work for someone, they could use CSR. And if CSR doesn't work for them, they could use TalkBack. Our other friends on the other side of the aisle, however, doesn't have that blessing. And to me, I think this is a huge blessing.
I use each one of them wherever
and also I want to point out something that it's just for fun. We were just talking and discussing stuff because that's the whole thing. We need to learn about other additional things.
Just like JAWS and NVDA. Some people
exactly. So
and we are blessed. We are blessed to have both of them. It's a beautiful
if
thing.
They have JAWS, and I help people if they have NVDA. I'm good with both of them, so it doesn't matter. Whatever works.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. On Android, we are blessed, and that's because of the openness. And I would love to see a third and a fourth screen reader so that this would actually give us more opportunities for people who would like to use something else.
That would put much confusion on them.
And people keep saying, iOS is better, but frankly, I say Android is better because we have this freedom
iOS
whereby
is simpler.
We have this capability. So, you have different screen reader. You don't like VoiceOver, how it works. You have no choice. But on Android, you don't like how TalkBack does something. You have CSR or something like that. So I think it's a big thing and it's a huge thing and a blessing instead as something that one would think of as a division. To me, it's not a division. It's a big blessing to all of us. And so, guys, thank you so much for this wonderful party. Mariam and Austin, you guys will give people the opportunity to say their closing remarks for those that are still with us.
Wait a second, where's my coffee?
Yeah, that's right.
Is it like a dry meeting or what? What a celebration.
Well, you came late to the party, bro. Remember?
You should.
We just served some Egyptian food out there and some wine from France.
Yep,
and
kushari.
Dampanier. We have that dampanier from France.
Kushari is good. It's hot. And then
kushari, yes, and mahshi, if you heard about mahshi.
Have you ever drunk Turkish coffee, Harith? I think you said you have been in Turkey.
Turkish coffee.
I've been look. It's very overrated. Maybe somebody who went to Turkey is gonna. It's very, very much
Listen
overrated.
to him.
Turkish coffee. Look, if you tried the true desert Arab coffee, even Turkish coffee would look shy compared to maybe
really?
Maybe people from Egypt will tell you about it. It's totally different. I've tried it. It's good.
It's totally different.
Good, but it gets lots of media more than anything else. And Turkey is really good with media and tourism services, and systematically, the whole country is systematically great.
I love Turkish food, by the way.
Yeah, when did you? When did you stay in Turkey, and how long?
I went to Istanbul, and then to Çorum, and then to Yozgat, and Ankara.
The central Anatolian cities, those are Çorum,
Yozgat was freezing cold.
Yes.
Cold.
Yes, those places are very cold in winter. It decreases up to.
And they have 2 weeks of summertime, and the summertime is like 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
that's the summer.
How about we go around the room and have people say closing remarks, and so that people who want to leave, because then they can leave.
Yeah, I mean, we could stop recording, and if people want to continue
I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, no, but let's go around and do closing remarks before he stops the recording.
Okay.
So, Mariam, do you want to go around the room again and have people to say their closing remarks, if you will, please?
All right, I can do that, no problem. Okay, the first one here I have on the list is Norman, so thank you for doing that today.
Well, happy to be here, and I hope that this podcast is going to continue. And I don't know, to the next 50 episodes, or how many ever there'll be.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate your time. We have Amr.
Yes. Okay. By the way, Nermin is a Turkish female name. Do you know that?
I know, but I'm not female, not Turkish. Yeah, I've heard that 1,000 times.
Yes, okay. Yes, thank you very much for inviting me again. And I have been really, really very glad and very pleased to be here, to be with all of you, and I really enjoyed this podcast and this talk very much. I hope to do it in the future again, and thank you very much to everybody. And good night. Actually, it's getting night here because it's 9:30 here. Yeah, 9:27 here. I'm going to eat my dinner. Actually, I didn't do it. And goodbye to everybody.
Thank you.
All right, great. We have Aubrey.
So it was really, it's always nice to talk with you guys. So thanks a lot. And I also wish we meet again sometime. And I wish you the best of success for the future. And I'm also going to eat my dinner. So thanks a lot to all of you.
Thank you so much, Per.
So moving on to Hendrik. I hope you can hear me, Hendrik.
Yes, sorry. Now, okay, I want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for your podcast. I love the discussion between the Talkback and the CSR. Warren, I use Talkback more than the CSR, but I use both, so I'm on your side on that one. But thank you guys very much, and I hope to hear a lot from you guys still.
And don't forget, next week you're going to be our guest, right, Hendrik?
Yeah, no, I won't forget. You'll send me the link.
I'll send you the URL. Yeah. So
thanks.
Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, amazing.
Right.
Then we have Mr. Harris.
Warren, my man, and all the podcast team. It's a great addition for what we have already, and I'm enjoying it. And good job, way to go. Keep it. And I'm enjoying my time with you was here. Do it more often, and I love the seasoning of the arguments we do between now and then. And just love you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro. And I was looking forward to you coming in. I'm glad you were finally able to come in, even though you missed the most of it, but at least you got in here and got in on the fight part that Mariam loves. So thank you for putting on a great fight. That was a great naysayer. I need to send you a medallion for that.
Like the coffee, imaginary medallion.
Yeah, some Turkish coffee or something.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so
Appreciate
much, bro.
the time
Appreciate
here.
it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And moving on to Ken.
Thank you so much, you guys, for having us. And I have to say happy 25th episode. And I hope you guys will join us for, in our show, even if it's not to talk about Android, but just discussions, or if you guys have topics that you want us to talk about aside from the topics that you guys brought up. Because I think, it's a wonderful thing you guys do. And I love the discussion. And I actually had a lot of fun. And by the way, Warren, you gotta use talkback with eloquence.
Thank you, bro. And by the way, anytime you guys want me to come to your show, I would be more than happy to come and
in that
do your
case,
show
will you
with
be
you
willing
guys.
to join us today?
Yeah. When are you guys doing it? Is it 1 o'clock again?
Oh.
Yes, 1 o'clock Pacific time.
Okay. So I may find my coffee and join you guys. Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, I want to actually. Warren, can you just send me the information?
Yeah.
Because I haven't done
I'll
the
send you
test
I'll send you the info.
I really actually am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then to the pretty one, Raquel, it's time for your closing remarks.
Thank you for inviting me over. It was fun, and I had a lot of fun with all this conversation, and I think it was we had a great discussion about it. I felt like we pointed out good parts and stuff, and happy 25th episode, and I hope you guys keep going with it. It's great, and hopefully if we keep exercising as it has been. So thank you again, and it'll be nice to have you guys back in time to time in our show as well.
Thank you so much, Raquel. All right, Austin, do you want to give people information on how to get hold of us?
Before I could give the information, as this is a milestone episode, I would like to thank some people who have helped us in this journey. I would like to thank our web developer who has developed our website. His name is Hamza, and he's a very nice web developer and fast, responsive, and he has helped us develop our website. I would like to thank our listeners first and foremost. Without them, we would not have reached so far, or maybe would have not started. And thanks for all the encouragements and being with us. And I hope you all be with us for the future also. I would like to also thank the people who have invited us for these past 25 episodes. We were on a lot of shows. We were on RNIB's Tech Talk, then we were on Live Accessible, and then we were on Heat FM, Apps and Gadgets, and we'll have the link of the show in the show notes. So I'd like to thank all of you all, and we'll keep doing this more often. And maybe episode 50, we'll like to have all of you and more people back on. So to contact us, you can visit our website to listen to our podcast, blindandroidusers.com. You can search for us on YouTube. The search word is blind space Android space users, and listen to podcasts, listen to demos, and please subscribe and hit the notification. That is very important because we are going to upload extra content, so you might miss it out if you have not hit the notifications. To email us, you'll have to send an email to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. You can join us on our mailing list. That is Blind Android Users Plus. Subscribe at groups.io. Our Twitter, Clubhouse, and Telegram links will be in the show notes. So please also read the show notes and join us there. And from time to time, we'll be active on Clubhouse. So looking forward to see you then. So till next week, have a nice weekend. Have a nice week, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. See you
Thank
next
you
week.
so much, guys. And that has been another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You send those email messages to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. For those My Android Journey stories, we encourage you to send those to myandroidjourney at blindandroidusers.com. Until we see you in our next episode, you have a wonderful day.